You're gonna make me break my rule. And once you break the rule is broken. I can't. We have 10 minutes left. I got a lot of ground to cover. 30 seconds. Oh, not even, okay.
Is actually, again, piggybacking on what Esther said, is Mayor Ross Baraka has really built
That's a name.
his administration on technology, the free Wi-Fi and the understanding of what smart cities are. And I've been covering this for almost 12 years now, and it is a measurable, very discernible difference in how he speaks to his community and to the media when it's about technology.
I broke it. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, great. So what I was going to say was that one of the problems with this question is that technology has become so diverse, and so it depends on what aspect you're talking about. I, in covering healthcare, do also get that aspect of it, and I think that you saw kind of a problem with when they were talking about telehealth and how they got to, through the bill that now regulates it. I don't think they did, but anyway, so that's the problem, is that
Did
they...
Ask him, he will know.
I'm ready to jump. I'm break the rules in a second.
Break it when I get to my next question. Then you'll break it.
So the process, I remember that just like during the process, the conversations that were happening, it was very evident that they don't understand how all of it fits into everyday life, and they're trying to figure out how to regulate it as a normal business rather than as a borderless, boundless business that it can.
My vote is Poe and Lagana. So my question, and I'll bring in the Assemblyman on this next question as a guest specialist, is I would not be able to go back to my headquarters at Uber if I didn't ask about the gig economy. The gig economy, that's what they lump in Uber, Handy.
You don't speak my language. I clearly don't speak yours. Wait, before you ask that question, I say one thing. You're right. And I see this in my own dealings, right? I said quickly, I'm the first physicist, right? Sam Thompson has a degree in chemistry from many, many years ago. Upendra Shivakula is gone, he was an engineer, and that's it, right? And so it is true that, and I see this as well, that many of my colleagues do not understand the real role that tech plays as an economic driver. And so whether you talk about, at the federal level or at the state level, the enormous return on investment, it's not understood, right? And so there's two possible ways to attack it, right? One is elect to start as a governor, right? Regardless of, I'm trying to be, now I'm just being a legislator, so I'm being apolitical now. Elect a governor that gets it, right? And there was some discussion about differences between the two. And the second, of course, is, pushing hard in the legislature. The other piece, though, has got to be, and I have to say this, it has to be on you to educate your elected officials, whether it's the mayor of Newark or whether it's the state
You're stealing
legislature.
my closing, sir. You're stealing my
I sit by
closing.
you, right?
You're stealing my
Can
closing.
I get a free ride on Uber?
If it falls under the gift restrictions, sure.
All right. So what happens when a neutron walks into a bar?
When who walks into a bar?
So I'll finish it off by saying that's really crucial. And then the last thing I'll say, I'm working with the Blaustein School at Rutgers, right around the corner here. So some of you may know the AAAS, American Association of Advancement for Science, has what's called a congressional fellowship that takes scientists, puts them into congressional offices. We are working on a grant to do the same thing at the state level, to put young PhD level scientists and engineers into state offices to also get at exactly what you're talking about, because it has to be in multiple prongs. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So I won't be able to go back to my headquarters if I don't talk about the gig economy just a little bit. And the gig economy is defined by independent contractors providing goods or services to people through lead generation services like Uber, Andy, Lyft, Thumbtack. I'm probably missing 50 other versions. I hear other versions. If your version's in the room, talk to me after. So what do you think the impact has been on the state on the gig economy in terms of what it's meaning for providing goods and services, how people are finding goods and services, what it means on the labor front, just broadly the gig economy? What's its impact?
And you're at Uber?
Best place ever, baby.
I mean, it's so important.
Clip that and send that to whoever has the.
I don't know. I would just be talking. I mean, I got a release today that Bankrate.com put out a report about something like a quarter of 18 to 34-year-olds have, they call it a, what do they call it, a hustle? A side hustle?
Side hustle.
Yeah. So it's clearly something that is making an impact. The economy these days is weird, and I think people are having a hard time figuring out what's going on because the unemployment rate is really low and wages still aren't rising, and productivity isn't increasing that much. And I would be curious, I wish there was an economist who maybe who's been studying the impact of that. I don't know.
So a lot of the entrepreneurs that I know and talk to are involved in the gig economy. They're all picking up gigs here and there, and then there's a few startups that are actually working in that economy here in New Jersey. But what I want to say is that most of them don't get benefits. There's no benefits for people who are working full-time in the gig economy. And so without universal health care, we've got a problem. So hopefully that will get resolved. And that's what I want to say.
Cool. So I got no questions from the audience, so I'm just gonna make up our last question. You know I'm not doing that. You know I'm not doing that. We have 2 minutes left, and she's from Lyft, by the way. We have a lovely banter. I mean, I'm gonna go to our last question because we are supposed to be done by 4:50, and I'm gonna follow the rules even though I work for the assemblyman. If you were the governor, the next governor, what would you do differently to support the tech ecosystem? And if you feel uncomfortable pretending to be the governor for 30 seconds, don't, because everybody does it at some point. That's an everybody question. We're gonna start with the American entrepreneur and then go down the line. Sure, we'll start with Mr. Dunn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a reporter for a reason because I don't like.
I don't want to do it.
Um,
What question would you ask the next governor about the ecosystem thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's how are you going to keep taxes under control or get them under control and still invest in the things that we have to invest in? That's the question. I haven't heard anybody with an answer.
Well, she got spurred on.
It helps to listen to, it does come down to competitiveness. And so when this ranking came out about New Jersey being ninth in innovation, and Massachusetts came up with their set of criteria, but it did come down to is who is going where and for what reason. And ever since I've been covering the space is how many companies in New Jersey are moving to Pennsylvania, how many companies are starting in New York. So there's a messaging issue, and that's been around for 10 years. And so, and we know tech drives economic development. So how is New Jersey going to be tech competitive? That starts the companies here and keeps the companies here. No one's ever answered that question in 10 years.
This next panel is going to answer that question for you. No pressure.
I've had conversations with business trade groups, and one of the things is millennials. And we know that we've had the discussion about how they're part of the gig economy, they're really driving the startups, and if you can get them in a city, they'll stay. If you give them all the infrastructure that they need, they'll stay. But that addresses the idea that they're already here, and the question is how to attract them to the area when they're not already coming. So I think that the labor force, like the workforce itself is the question, is how are we going to balance and maintain that so that we're not imbalanced in whatever industries we're involved in.
So one of the things I think needs to be done is to publicize our successes. And I'm not talking about PR releases. I'm talking about a big public allows us still here. It's very small, but it's still here. And it's still doing some fantastic things. So why don't we show the governor up at Bell Labs, talking to the people there about, how we can increase innovation. We can do that in other areas of the country, of the state. They can go to, I know Cory Booker has visited Tiger Labs, and I know that then the governor can do that too. Let's continue to get increased publicity for what we're doing right. That's what I think.
I think that's a great way to end this conversation and not get in trouble with Jim. So thank you.